In today's video, we're going to talk about debt collector lawsuits. We're going to talk about debt collectors garnishing your wages. We're going to talk about debt collectors garnishing your bank account. We're going to talk about the exemptions that you have to stop debt collectors or original creditors from garnishing your wages or your bank account. We're going to talk about something that a lot of people still to this day do not believe. So I'm going to utilize third-party verification to let you know that debt collectors are having people arrested. And I'm going to tell you the reasons why they're able to get people arrested simply because of debt that they owe. And also, it does not matter that the tool that they're using is not quote-unquote debtor's prison, but there's a strange thing that happens with the bond, and it states it in here, and it's like being in debtor's prison because the bond is usually set for what the individual owes for the debt. So let's get right into it. I want you right now to like this video because even if you are not facing these situations, when you like this video, it brings up the awareness for other people. So I help you and you help other people by simply liking. Like, all you have to do is push your finger and hit like. And that's going to help other people who are facing debt collector issues, who are facing potential garnishment of their wages, who are facing potentially going to jail because they did not do what was required by the court when they got a judgment from a debt collector. And then to top it all off, I'm going to talk about a gentleman who left a long live chat message where his bank account was taken. His bank account was raided by a debt collector. And you're going to be surprised with the amount that they were able to take. But he woke up and all of his money was gone. All the money was gone. So let's first start off with the exemptions, because a lot of this stuff can stop if we know the exemptions. Now, there's going to be some federal exemptions, and then there's going to be some state exemptions. So I want you to first just listen to me on the federal exemptions, and then there's some exceptions where some of your money, even if you have these exemptions, they can still take your money. And then we're going to talk about what you can look at for your state. And I'm going to tell you what's available in my state of Wisconsin. That's an additional exemption, even if you are working. So now, the exemptions to protect your wages benefits from money that can be garnished. And let me tell you something. When they garnish your money, some people say, well, I'm just, as soon as the money hit my bank account, I'm not going to have the money, they won't be any money. I'm going to take out all the money. I'm an employer, and with my other company, I have several people, a lot. Like when I looked at it and signed off on the garnishment, I'm like, these people are just, they're losing a lot of money with these garnishments. And it's not appropriate for me to speak on it with the company, because it's a corporation. And I have to just sign off on what it is, but I try to slip things in all the time to try to help people. But the money does not reach your bank account when it's being garnished by your employer. It is automatically taken out of your paycheck, and then that stays in the employer's account, and then the employer sends out the payment for that garnishment. And then some of the things, something else that a lot of people don't know, that you can avoid these certain types of situations, is that you can't be garnished double. You can't be garnished by one creditor and then garnished at the same time by another creditor. But this can happen if you don't let anybody know. If you don't have any communication with the debt collector or with the judgment that you had. All of this is about staying out in front of stuff so you don't have any repercussions. So say, for instance, you're being garnished of your wages and they're trying to get in touch with you, and you don't get in touch with them, and they're not able to find you or whatever, but they look at your credit reports and they know that you are paying some debts, and they say, well, let's find that bank account. How are they going to find the bank account? They're going to find the bank account for the payments that you made from when you were with that original creditor. So they're going to go get that writ from the court, from the judgment, go to the bank that they think that you're at. And if you're at that bank, let me tell you, that bank is going to give over your money. And we're going to talk about someone who, like, I got a real life example from yesterday. Person told me how much money they took. And we've helped people with this. And I'm going to talk about how you can get your money back if that happens to you. Like this video, because if you like this video, you're going to be helping other people. Even if it's not pertaining to you right now, but you need to put this information in your back pocket, like your wallet or in your purse, because you could end up using something like this in the future. So let's quickly go through the federal exemptions. And there are state exemptions. It's different for every state. But your Social Security income cannot be garnished. Your supplemental security income, SSID is what it's usually called, cannot be garnished. Federal railroad payment for retirement, unemployment, or sickness cannot be garnished. Civil service retirement, CRS payments cannot be garnished. Federal employee retirement system, FERS payments cannot be garnished. Also, some veterans, well, it's on here, veterans benefits cannot be garnished. But I run into veterans who contact us and they don't even know this, and they end up taking their money. Let me tell you a quick story. It happened to me when I was in the military. I was in the military when I was 18 years old. And let me tell you a trick that the debt collectors would do, is that they would contact your first sergeant. If you owed a debt, they contact your first sergeant. See, they know they can't take that veterans benefits, but what they can do is they can put pressure, because you cannot have these debts hanging out there. And they would contact your first sergeant, and you could end up getting an Article 15 because you're not paying your debts. It may have changed now. It may have changed now. But I know when I was in there at 18 years old, I saw people getting an Article 15 over debt. And I didn't handle my money good when I was in the Army. I had only made $600 a month when I was in the military at the age of 18. $600 a month. So you know I was already behind the 8 ball in taking care of stuff, because that's not a lot of money. That money went quick, especially when I bought my first car. The money was gone quick. I was glad to live in the barracks, but that money was gone very fast. So you know I was in financial trouble. Like this video right now, because me helping you and you simply liking this video helps someone else. So if you like helping other people, all you have to do is hit the like button. You don't even have to share the video. You can share it if you want to, but if you just simply like it, it's going to come into the awareness of other people who have trouble with debt collectors garnishing their wages, who may be exempt from having their wages garnished, and also having their bank account garnished, and also potentially getting arrested because of their debt. This video is going to talk about the solutions on that. Now, there's state exemptions. I'm going to talk about the state exemption that my state of Wisconsin has. It's called a poverty guideline. And I would suggest, even if you don't live in the state of Wisconsin, go and look at that, because some states have something similar to it that's just a little bit different. It's similar, but in the state of Wisconsin, if you live in the state of Wisconsin, you can earn a certain amount of money based on how many dependents you have. So they will not be able to garnish your wages unless you're like $1 over, then they can garnish 25% of that $1. But they can't touch any of the other money. Now, this is not about running away. You want to resolve the debt. You want to resolve those issues because you want to be able to move forward in your life. But this gives you relief so you can start talking with them to deal with it. But again, if you don't do anything about it, it's going to put you into a bad situation that I'm going to talk about in a minute. So now, there are exceptions. And if you have student loan debt or IRS debt, you're not going to like this one here. Even if you're on Social Security, supplemental income, veterans benefits, railroad, civil, retirement, federal employee retirement payments, you can still be garnished of your wages or of your benefits if you owe the IRS, and if you owe the Department of Education, they can take up to 15% of your money. 15% of your money. They can still do it. So now let's talk about what's going on with these debt collectors. Civil debts and jail time. Now, whenever I've mentioned this, I get a lot of, clap back or whatever it is. I don't know. People don't believe that this can happen until they see that it can happen. And sometimes even when they see that it can happen, they don't believe that it can happen, that a person could be arrested and put in jail over their debt. So I'm going to read here. This is third party. This is from the ACLU has an article on it. And there's several other consumer websites that have an article about this. But I'm going to read real quick here. So how can a debt collector make you go to jail? If you live in a state that allows it, which everyone lives in a state that allows it, when I tell you how they do it, you're going to say that they could do that in my state. It says that when you fail to appear in court, when you fail to follow a court's order to appear for a hearing or make a payment, you may be held in civil contempt of court. If you are in contempt because you failed to follow an order, the court can issue a warrant for your arrest called a capias, CAPIAS, or body attachment, depending on the court. Once arrested, you go to jail and remain there until you post bond. Interestingly, the bond is set in the amount that just happens to equal the amount of the judgment that the creditor took against you. Technically, this does not amount to debtor's prison because you're going to jail not for failing to pay the debt, but for failing to follow a court order. So wouldn't that be for all 50 states? So you see the tool that they're utilizing, and it says, however, the end result is the same. If they pick you up and you have to post a bond for the amount to be able to get out, that's just like paying your way to get out of jail, debtor's prison, because you're not getting the money back. You're posting a bond on the money that you owe. Now, here it is. Now, like the video real quick before I get to the next statement. Like the video, because me helping you helps you help other people by simply clicking the like button. Now, let me tell you, in the way that this is practiced, this is why it's important to be a subscriber to the creditrepairshop.com, because we actually deal with clients that go through stuff like this, is that in the way that it is actually done. Now, they stated, and I could tell the person who wrote this, they probably never had the situation happen. They probably maybe interviewed an individual that went through it, but you know when you're under emotion, you're just going to say what kind of happened. But if you break down the details, the devil is in the details, what can actually happen to be able to get yourself out of jail. In practice, courts don't want to keep you in jail even if you can't post a bond on that. What they do is they have you come up in front of the judge and say, okay, what are you going to do about this debt? You say, I can't pay it, which you could have easily done before this if you wouldn't have disregarded any of the communications from them. But if you say, I cannot afford to pay it, they're going to let you out of jail. And that's the facts. That's what I know from having this happen to other clients, is that they're not going to keep you in jail for that. But here's the problem, is that you don't want to be at a park. You don't want to be, with the family, having a barbecue and fun with the kids and your relatives, and all of a sudden cop comes around. You're either parked illegally or they're just running tags. How many times have you heard of police officers just running tags? And there's a body attachment, quote, that's what they said, warrant for your arrest for contempt of court. And they say, who is it? Where is this individual here? Or they wait for you to come to your car, and then they take you to jail. Even if you're going to get out right away, you don't want to be arrested and taken to jail. That's the thing. That's what you want to avoid. You don't want to be arrested and then taken to jail. You want to avoid that. like this video. I'm helping you, and I want to help you help other people, and you can easily do that by just simply liking this video. So now, how is it done? Once the creditor gets a judgment against you, it can use the court to help make you pay. For instance, a judgment creditor can get the court to issue a wage garnishment. We all know about that. Or an order to attach your bank account. We all know about that, and we're going to speak on that in a minute. If an aggressive creditor can't find income or assets to grab, it can file papers with the court that require you to appear in court for a debtor's examination. What is a debtor's examination? That's where they want to know how much money you make, bank account, where you work, all of that stuff. You could have gave this to them when they made that call or when they sent you that letter. You could have been ahead of this so you don't end up going into this type of situation. People, please pay attention. I know that I'm motivated, I'm animated in this video because when I get emails or live chats like the one I'm going to read to you, you're going to see why this is so important for you to do what I'm telling you to do. Because it's about avoiding the pain. I don't want you to wake up one morning and your bank account is taken, all the money's out of your bank account. I don't want you to be out driving and you get a speeding ticket and you get picked up because you have a warrant for your arrest because they want you to come in and do a debtor's examination. I want to help you avoid that stuff. Before I get into what the gentleman who had his bank account garnished, I had someone had asked me, how long will I do this for the credit repair shop? Number one, credit repair shop is a company. So even if I'm not working with the company will continue. But what I do, I'll do it forever. And here's the reason why. When my wife and I were struggling financially, and I haven't found anyone here yet that has more debt than me, that was consumer. Now, I do have businesses that come to me that have more debt, but consumer debt. We were $300,000 in consumer debt. Took us from 1994 to 1999 to work all of that out. So I know how it feels to be in debt. I know how it feels to be fighting with your spouse over money. I know how it feels where your kids are looking at you a certain way because you're not taking care of the house. I know how it feels to have cars repossessed. I know how it feels not to be able to pay the bills, struggling to put food on the table, going to work even though I own my own business and they couldn't garnish me, but still going to work and worrying about all types of stuff. And so I know how it feels. I also know that whatever problem you have, you're not going to fix it in 30 days. It took me 5 years. Not to say it's going to take you that long, but you need to be into the work and not so worried about the time. Because 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year is going to come regardless. So what type of work are you going to put to fix your situation over that time frame? So don't get buried into how quick is it going to happen. Don't get buried into that. Get buried into what it's going to take so you can put your energy into what it's going to take. And then you're going to get to where you want to be, and the time is just going to fly by. You won't even know it, or you could stay stuck like other people. Like this video right now, share it, because by me helping you, you can help other people by simply liking this video. So I didn't even know that driving, it used to take me 45 minutes to drive to work, and I was driving in a beat up truck because I didn't want to get any car payments. And I didn't know that driving to work, and I used to talk to myself and say stuff to motivate myself and about how my wife and I were working together to get ourselves out of debt and how we're going to be moving forward in our life. And it didn't even happen yet. We were still going through it, but I was already thinking positive and talking. I didn't even know that I was training myself to be able to come here to talk to you on YouTube. YouTube didn't even exist at that time. So I'll do it forever. I'll do it forever because I do it because I want to help you get to where you want to be. I want to help you avoid the pain, the frustration, avoid the things that I went through as most as possible. And then even if you can't avoid them, because there's some stuff you can't avoid, I'm going to give you the comfort through my videos, the comfort through writing me on live chat or commenting here on YouTube, the comfort that someone else went through it and knows exactly how you feel and can just give you like if I'm right there and I'm like just got my hand on your shoulder or hugging you and just saying, hey, you're going to make it through it. And I wish I could tell you exactly how that picture is going to look, but I can tell you the picture that will happen is that you will make it through it no matter how bad it is right now. So like this video because when you like it, you help somebody else. So prove to me that you want to help other people, that you don't just take, that you also help. And if you could simply just like a video to help other people, simply like a video to help other people, that's not asking too much. And I'm asking you to do it. So let's get to, so we just talked about the exemptions. We just talked about the debtors, quote unquote debtors prison, how they do it, how you can avoid it from happening. So don't disregard those debt collector letters. Take this stuff head on. Gentleman sent me a live chat and he said that went to pay his mortgage and he was not able to pay the mortgage. Reason why he wasn't able to pay the mortgage is because they garnished his bank account. They took $6,000. He had zero. They left zero in there, and they stated that they're going to be able to come back to take another $4,000 to $5,000. So every time the paycheck hits the account or deposit hits the account, they grab it. They already got the notice into the bank. They already told them, put the money in the bank, the money is gone. Put the money in the bank, the money is gone. He admitted that he disregarded the judgment from back in 2015. Now, some people would think, how are they able to come in, 2015, I'm done and over with all of this. How are they able to do this? Well, I've talked about different ways that these debt collectors, that they have, just like eBay. You got eBay on there where you're like bidding on stuff. They got eBay, but it's not called eBay, for debt collectors to buy judgments that were not collected. So they see one on there and they're like, oh, this is what? That would equal roughly $11,000. And say the person or the company was never able to collect the money. They're just in the business of running their business. They're not in the debt collection business. So they approach them and say, hey, we will either do it for a percentage or we'll just buy it from you. Why would they buy it from them? Because they can look at your credit reports and see the stuff that you're paying. So obviously, if they look at the credit reports, they use the skip tracing technology, AI technology, and look at that you're paying your bills and you're paying a mortgage, or maybe you got your rent reported, or you're paying credit card. They add all of that up. They even know where you work at. And they're like, okay, that mortgage is a pretty good size mortgage, or that rent is a pretty good size. That they're estimating. That means that it could be this amount of money in there. So they send that writ for the full amount, and whatever is in there, they can take it all. All of it. Unless you do what I tell you to do. Like this video. You can share it if you want to, but like this video right now if you haven't done it already. Also, hit the notification bell so you can get some of this notified of my next video. So, now let's talk about solutions. When if you find yourself in this situation, here is the straight line solution. And that's why it's important that we allow other people to have this video come into their awareness, because this is the straight line solution. There's no need to go watching any other video. I'm telling you from experience with helping our clients do the people who came to us and became clients to get this done, or just sharing the information. Go directly to your court clerk and ask for the documents to be able to, number one, get some of all of your money back. Now, depending on your state, depending on the rules of your state, you may be able to get all of it back and then you have a hearing, or a portion of it back. In my state of Wisconsin, they have to leave a certain amount in there for you to pay your expenses. They just have to. But they don't know that because you didn't respond to them. If you don't respond to them, how are they to know? You might be saying, well, they looked at my credit reports, they saw how much for my mortgage and all. They don't care about that because remember, just like I stated here with the debtor's prison, with them, you didn't do a debt examination. So they could play that pretend game. We didn't know. So we just want all the money. We just want all the money. We didn't know. So it's about avoiding it. So you go to the courthouse, get the proper documentation. You can either have a hearing where they give it all back, or they give a portion of it back. Whatever, it does not matter because you want to make sure that you do something about it. And the other thing is that with this gentleman, something that comes to mind is one problem ends up being three problems. How does it end up being three problems? If he was not able to come up with the money to pay the mortgage, then he got a late payment on the mortgage. And then it potentially could end up losing the house over this. This is stuff that we want to avoid. And we can simply avoid this type of stuff by being ahead of it. By being ahead of it. Now, not to say that this gentleman didn't have reasonable cause that this couldn't come back to bite him. Reasonable cause. But they do when they buy that debt. I'm just going to tell you straight up. If they bought it or they're deciding to come after you for it, they're going to send you something in the mail trying to get a demand on that payment. They always do it. They're going to send something that's going to give you a warning. So if you've ever received anything in the mail, that's a warning. That's a warning. Even if it's a judgment from back in 2015, 16, they got 20 years. If they renew it, they can go up to 20 years. So if you had it in 2015, you better bet these last few years that they got, because they can only do it to 2025, they're going to ramp it up. If they feel that they can get it, they're going to go and get it. And they got $6,000 from this gentleman's account. And they let him know we can get another $4,000 to $5,000. We're coming. So go to that court clerk, ask for the documents so you can either get all of your money back and you have a hearing, or you get some of your money back and you have a hearing. And then the next thing that you do is you get in front of it by saying to that debt collector or the plaintiff attorney, I need a payment arrangement because I need to be able to pay my household expenses. And the court is going to back you up on that. But if you do nothing, you don't have no backup, you're just going to have people just taking your money, making it harder for you and your family, and you get to fighting with your wife. Or if you're single, you think the whole world is up against you. All right, if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch video What Makes Us Different so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. That's the way that we repair credit. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website the3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, credit reports, and all 3 scores. If you know what all is on your credit reports, you will know what you got to do to deal with it. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters. You can stop a lot of this early. Statute of limitations letter for debt that is past the legal statute of limitations to collect. Debt validation letter and cease and desist collection activities letter. If you have a debt that is not past the legal statute of limitations to collect, debt collector purchase your debt, send them that cease and desist collection activities letter. You will probably have your debt where they're going to cease collection because of what's in that letter. I do ask for a donation on those. If you feel that my time was valuable to you for giving you that information, please leave a donation. I really appreciate it, because it could save you time, money, and frustration. It could save you $6,000 or $11,000 like this person. because you do have rights. But if you don't know how to line up and utilize your rights at the right time, you got to utilize your rights at the right time. I see a lot of people utilize their rights at the wrong time, and then nothing happens because the debt collector is asking you something else, but you're thinking that they're asking you for something at another time. Let me give you an example, just because I know I probably confuse people. If you have a debt collector sending you a court summons, the debt validation, you send them a debt validation letter, they could just disregard it. If you have a court summons, you do your debt validation in your court summons response. So utilize your rights at the right time so you can have the good that'll happen because you're utilizing your rights at the right time, which means utilizing your rights with the right thing that you're supposed to be utilizing those rights for. Thank you for your time. Post your questions and comments. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.